surgery, the subsequent surgery that I underwent, then there was the holes that were formed on my backside, on my butt, on my left buttock, and the draping doesn't hold real well whenever whenever I'm moving around a lot, whenever I'm doing transfers from the bed to my wheelchair, from my wheelchair to the toilet seat, from my wheelchair to the floor, um, from my wheelchair to the truck, from my wheelchair to a restaurant booth, things like that. So it leaks the vacuum system that is hooked onto my left buttock from my hip bursitis to try and get rid of that swelling that won't go away. It is healing. I think it's getting smaller, because it was like a 12 centimeters deep, and now it's about 8.5 centimeters deep. So it's getting better. It's just, I'm probably looking at probably another year of healing before it gets totally healed up. And the bottom hole is healed up pretty well, but there's still liquid leaking out of it. It's like a crack. It almost looks like a crack. I got I'm gonna get a video of it and upload that fairly soon. Probably not tomorrow, but the next day or something. And so you guys can see the crack that I'm talking about, the lower hole, or it used to be a hole, but now it's a crack that that I have. But the upper crack or the upper hole, sorry, it's not a crack at all. That's pretty darn huge, but it's healing on the inside, so that's not as deep. So that's something, at least we're moving in the positive direction. But what I wanted to tell you was that I'm using the tripod that I use for my camera to hold on to the camera at different angles and to get different types of views and stuff. I haven't had my camera for a little while, and so I'm using the webcam from my wife's computer. I've been using that. It's not high definition, but it's working okay. It's kind of getting the idea across to you guys, and that's important to me, and it also reminds me of what I did on a specific day. What exercises I might have done on that day, or what other fun things I might have done also. But anyway, the draping, the draping for my vacuum system that is hooked on my left buttock area can easily get compromised or easily start to leak. And so what I did was I figured out a system with using the tripod from my camera. I extended all the way. My tripod on my camera can extend to, I would say, 5.5 feet. Oh, maybe 6 feet. Probably not 6 feet, but I would say 5.5 feet, or maybe 5 feet, somewhere around there. So it gives me a little bit of reach, so I don't have to get out of the bed. I don't have to transfer out of the bed. I don't have to move the draping on my left buttock, the vacuum system on my left buttock, that much. And so I'm not exposing it to some kind of leak or drainage or something like that by, accidentally pulling up a corner or uh, pulling the draping. And whenever I say draping, it's draping is kind of the draping is almost like saran wrap, and that you find in your grocery store. But the draping, what it does is it sticks to the skin, and what my what my wife does is she puts a skin prep on the draping. She put the skin prep on my left buttock area so that it doesn't rip away my skin whenever she puts the draping on there, or like I said, it's almost like a saran wrap type of stuff that she puts onto my skin. And there is a foam that is probably about the width of your finger or your fingernail, and they pack that into my into the hole that was created by the surgery that I underwent in around Thanksgiving of 2012. And so it's taken quite a while for this thing to heal up. It's taken very, very, very long. I've been eating a lot of meat. I've been eating actually a lot of protein shakes and protein bars also, and the meat and the carbohydrates, and I've been trying to get as much calories into my system as possible. And I'm trying to put on a little bit of weight, and I have gained about 10 pounds. I tried to gain, I was up to about 15 pounds. I had gained 15 pounds, but then I guess maybe I stopped the heavy eating because you eat a little bit more in the winter than you do in the summer, I think. And now that it's summer, I'm not eating as much as I used to in the winter. And the good thing about the eating process is it's not giving me heartburn, which I very easily get. I intake about 300 calories every 3 hours, or 400 calories, 3 or 400 calories every 3 or 4 hours. So I tend to eat probably 5 or 6 times a day. But once the tripod is extended, then I probably get about 5.5 feet or 5 feet, somewhere around there, of extra extension, so to reach things and turn things off and turn things on, and to close the door. I close the door, but I don't have a grip on that tripod, and so I wasn't able to open up the door, and I shut the door, so I had to actually get up and open the door by hand. But I think next time on, what I'm going to do is just close the door just enough, but not shut it all the way, so that I would still be able to open up the door with the extended tripod reacher if I needed. So you see here that I'm turning on and off the TV, and you saw there that I closed the door, and I also, another thing that you saw there was that I turned on and off the fan, and I keep the tripod underneath the underneath the part of the bed, I close the tripod up and get it as small as possible, and then I put it underneath the bed. That's my little storage area for it. It's not too difficult to use the tripod to open it up and to close it up. It has that little screwing thing that I found on the end of the tripod that it allows me, I would say maybe a foot more. So that was kind of cool, because I normally just do the legs, and that gives me a pretty good extension, maybe 4.5 feet, something like that. But then with that the end of the tripod, and that can be extended too by unscrewing that lid on the top, then it gives me about 5.5 feet of reaching, and it helps me out a lot. It makes it so that I can turn it off, on and off things, like the TV and the internet, our internet connection. I can turn on and off that is because it's all the TV and the internet connection is hooked up to the to a switch, to a large switch, to not a fuse, but a switch that allows it so that it won't blow out. So if you get struck by lightning, if the house gets struck by lightning, then it won't blow up, like the TV or the internet or other things that are hooked up to that strip, to that power strip. So I don't know how well you can see the on and off switch for the light that I'm reaching right there, or that I had just reached, but hopefully you kind of saw a little bit of change in the light, so you could see when the light was on a little bit and see when the light was off. I hope so. I don't know, but anyway, the doggies gave me a little bit of companionship. In the far bottom right is a new member to our household, a zooker, which means sugar in English. And so I'm just doing some transfers here also, just to get on and off the bed. I'm moving the vacuum system a lot, and if you saw earlier, I don't know if I captured it or not, but what I was doing was I was holding the vacuum system with my mouth in between my teeth,